Francophone Mobility
The Mobility Francophone Program
is the easiest pathway for work permit extension.
All you need is a Canadian language benchmark 5 in speaking and listening only.
It was very important for me to score an NCLC 5 because my work permit was expiring. I had to apply for a work permit through some sort of scheme, basically keep my status valid in Canada. LMIA for me was not an option. French was my only way out of this situation. To apply for the work permit, the two requirements are, having an NCLC 5 in listening and speaking only, and then having a job offer from one of the employers outside of Quebec, which I don't think is a very difficult task. French, I think, is a little more difficult in this scenario. When I first got to CCC, I was at A1 over the period of 4.5 months. I was able to get to NCLC 5. It is quite an achievement. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say this is a solid 9. All my career basically was invested in Canada. I went there when I was 20, and then I studied there. I've been living there and working in Canada for the last 8 years. So it was very important for me to, crack this exam and continue my career there. If I was not able to do that, I would have to basically start from scratch all over again. I really did not want to do that. So I was invested into the TEF. When I was in front of the examiner, it is very nerve-wracking because I have to read an advertisement which is very short and concise. And those advertisements are very twisted and not very easy to understand. That is how they test how good you are, understanding the language. It's not just the speaking part, it's the reading part that they are testing while we do the speaking, so which is more challenging for me, Studying at CCC gave me a lot of confidence. We used to have these listenings that were provided that would have special questions in the back regarding to listenings and section B, which would help us express our thoughts in French. That was, I think, very helpful trying to think how I can answer these questions that are consistent with the questions that were coming in the exam. If I have to describe my experience at CEC, I would say it was awesome. The faculty is top tier. The instructors are one of the best. The instructor that I had, she was like a C2 native French speaker, so she had a lot of experience teaching. The listenings we did in class were very helpful because we would listen to it and then we would read it. Each and every sentence was explained. New vocab would always show up. We would answer the questions regarding those, which would further add on to the vocabulary. We had some practice tests done for reading, and then we would have questions in the section B that would help us with the writing and the speaking element of the exam. The material that was provided during the course was very helpful, especially the grammar book that was provided in class. Having a physical book with me just helps me a lot, rather than reading through a computer or a screen. There are days when you're not able to be in the class. And that is when, this hybrid system really comes in handy. I've had attended a couple classes when I was not in the town, and I was able to do it because, I had the option to go online and still attend my class at the given time. I was lucky enough to get a good group, which was very competitive. I had friends that would talk to me in French during the breaks after the class, which helped me a lot to eventually be confident to speak French. Just sitting by myself, I would not have been able to push myself that much. But yeah, at the end of the day, everything helped me out that was in the environment there. And of course, the special events that were organized by CCC, certain events that would help us get used to speaking French in front of a group, that was very important. Achieving NCLC 5 in a couple months, I think, is doable, given the fact that you are giving enough time to the language. Just attending a 3-hour class would not cut it. I got a CLB 6 in listening, and I almost got a 7, I missed 7 by about 2 points. Me personally, when I go back home, I work on my listening. I do some listening exercises every day, and then I would try to listen to podcasts, try to stay consistent with what I do. When I'm home and then I have time, I'll try to prepare the format for the exam. There are many resources available on YouTube which are free, so you can just look up TEF updated version for the exam and just listen to those questions, so you are used to the format, what kind of questions they start with, what kind of questions come in the middle, and then what kind of questions come in the end. And then once you're ready for that format, then the listening practices that you have done, the podcasts and the in-class vocab and everything, that all that combined was enough for me to get like a 6. Anybody who starts is nervous. When I first started, I was pretty nervous about if I would make it or not. Unless you jump into the pool, you will never find out if you can swim. So if you don't try, you'll never find out if you'll make it or not. I do have my score to apply for the permit, and once that is done, I would aim for like a CLB 7 eventually to get the permanent residency done. For that, I need another course. So you'll definitely see more of me.